Okay, lesson 1.1, learn to identify and extend patterns. There's just one vocabulary term, conjecture. You can either get it from the PowerPoint or look it in your book. Let's get right to our first example. We're going to identify a possible pattern and use it to write the next three numbers, 3, 12, 48. We have to think about whether we're getting bigger, getting smaller, adding, multiplying. What do all these numbers have in common? So my suggestion is to first write out the three numbers and figure out how they are related and then move on from there. So if I look at the first two numbers, 3 times 4 is 12. I could also think 3 plus 9 is 12, except it looks like I'm getting quite large the next few numbers, so I'm going to be looking at multiplication. So if I record what the pattern is to multiply each number by 4 to get the next number, and I can then fill in the next three numbers of the pattern. So you can see the first one is 192, 768, and then 3072. Okay, our next example, I've got three numbers, 7, 12, 17. I'm getting larger, so I'm probably going to be looking at addition or multiplication. So let's see how each number relates to the next. I can either add or multiply. And if I add 5, 7 plus 5 is 12, I check. 12 plus 5 is also 17. I found my pattern. So then I'm just going to continue to write the numbers out by following the pattern. 22, 27, and 32 to fill in the rest of the pattern. I can also have patterns with shapes. So a possible pattern and then draw the next three figures. I have squares of 4 with a purple triangle, and I need to see how that's being rotated or moved around in the geometry. So it's to rotate the figure in a counterclockwise direction, so I'm going backwards around the clock. And we're just going to continue to move backwards, up, and around. The triangle stays the same within the square. You can analyze patterns to make conjectures. So here's your vocabulary term. A conjecture is a statement believed to be true. It can also be called a rule. So here I've got some more patterns to identify. Make a table that shows the number of triangles in each figure. Then make a conjecture about the number of triangles in the 7th figure of the pattern. Complete the table and use drawings to justify your answer. This is kind of like the cups that you had to use. They're building bigger structures here. So if you look, my first figure has 2 triangles. Figure 2 has 4. Figure 3 has 6. Do you start to see a pattern? So one way to do this would be to make a table. You could also just make your pattern on your shapes. Make a conjecture about the number of triangles in the 7th figure of the pattern. So complete the table and use drawings to justify your answer. The table you would draw would be all the way 1 to 7. Okay, in that first one, I'm just going to count those first ones that were given to me. We added 2 triangles each time. So if I continue that pattern all the way through the table, now I'm getting into triangles that I didn't have before. We lost our lights. So figure 6 that I didn't have had 12 triangles, and in order to justify that, I'm going to have to draw a picture. And now I'm to my final answer of the 7th figure, which will have 14 triangles, and draw my last figure to justify that. So there you have it. You need to record the rest of your check it out problems to bring into school.